Welcome to the Dakota County Community Development Agency, also known as the CDA New Admission Briefing. You are being offered rental assistance today through a program administered by the Dakota County CDA. The CDA administers its program on behalf of its funders. The programs have many complex regulatory requirements. The CDA does not always have discretion in how the program operates. Your participation is voluntary. If at any time you do not agree with providing or completing the requested paperwork, you can choose not to. However, the CDA will not be able to provide you rental assistance. Housing Choice Voucher. Because you meet the eligibility requirements, the Dakota County CDA is able to issue you a Housing Choice Voucher. To utilize the voucher, you will need to find a unit that accepts you as a renter and works with the HCV program. The voucher is valid for 120 days. This means that you have 120 days from the date you receive your voucher to find affordable and suitable housing. Rent calculation. You will pay a minimum of 30% of your gross income towards rent and utilities. Gross income is before any deductions, for example, taxes, medical insurance, etc. You cannot pay more than 40% of your gross income at the time your rental assistance starts. The CDA has determined 30 and 40% of your income based on the information you reported and the verifications that were used to determine your eligibility. Subsidy standards. The CDA will determine the appropriate size voucher for your household by applying the following criteria. A maximum of 2 persons to a bedroom. 2 adults, regardless of relationship, will be assigned 1 bedroom. Minors of opposite sex and 6 years of age or older will not be assigned the same bedroom. The living room is considered a sleeping area. You can rent a unit with more bedrooms than stated on your voucher. However, the subsidy provided is based on the bedroom size on your voucher. You may rent a unit with fewer bedrooms than stated on your voucher. However, there must not be more than 2 persons per living or sleeping area. Regardless of the unit size you choose, it must be affordable. Affordability will be discussed later. Payment standards. The payment standard is the maximum amount of subsidy your household is eligible for based on your voucher size. Please refer to the screen for the current Dakota County CDA payment standards. Maximum gross rent. Maximum gross rent is the payment standard plus the extra you can pay. Steps to getting assistance started. Select an affordable unit. Obtain approval from the owner or landlord. Have them complete the request for tenancy approval form. Sign, date, and input a phone number where highlighted on the RTA form prior to giving this form to the landlord. Unit requirements. Affordability. The CDA must determine that you will not pay more than 40% of your income towards gross rent, which is the rent plus the utility allowance. Rent reasonableness. The CDA will compare the rent requested by the landlord with other similar units to ensure it is reasonable. If the unit you choose does not meet affordability or rent reasonableness, the CDA will promptly notify you. You will then continue your housing search. The CDA must conduct and pass a housing quality standards inspection. You cannot own or have ownership in the unit in which you are being assisted. You cannot rent from a relative. Your landlord cannot live in the rental unit. Required documentation. If an RTA is approved, the CDA will prepare the required paperwork. For the participant, you will be sent a rent allocation form. Keep this document as proof of your rental portions, and you must sign a 1-year lease. For the landlord, contracts will be sent for signature. Payment cannot be made until they are returned. The landlord has 60 days to return the executed contracts. Failure to do so will result in the landlord losing rental assistance. And the landlord must also provide the CDA with a copy of the 1-year lease. Housing Quality Standards Inspection. The inspection will be conducted on the first business day of the month, generally between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. You will be required to have an adult home to let the inspector in. If the unit is vacant prior to the first, the inspector will attempt to inspect the unit by contacting the owner or landlord. Units cannot be inspected until the previous tenants have moved out. The unit must be inspected and pass before your assistance can begin. If the inspector is not able to gain access to the unit on the first attempt, they will make 2 additional attempts. Failure to cooperate with the inspection process will result in your file being closed and your name being removed from the waiting list. The inspection is valid for 12 months. Assistance will begin on the day the inspection passes. If the unit does not pass or the inspection is not complete on or before the first business day of the month, assistance will not start immediately. The CDA's rent portion will be prorated based on the number of days in the month your assistance starts. For example, 31 days for January or 28 for February. If your unit fails, call and remind your landlord to make the necessary repairs. The CDA will also send a letter to the landlord indicating the items needing repair. Once the repairs are made, immediately contact the inspector to set up a re-inspection. HQS Inspection Checklist. You can use this checklist to ensure your unit is ready for inspection. Test smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. Run all faucets and check for leaks, and be sure that drain pipes do not leak. Ensure that all windows open, lock, and operate correctly, and all screens are in place. Check light fixtures to be sure that all lights have covers and there are no open light sockets. Ensure that outlets and switches are tight and there are no cracked or broken plate covers. Check for tripping hazards, for example, loose carpet and TV cables or cords. Check that toilets flush properly and the seats are not broken. Check the tubs and showers for leaks, missing tiles, proper drainage, and mold. Check the garbage disposal to ensure that it is working properly. Check the stove to ensure that all burners and the oven work and all knobs and handles are there. Expanding housing opportunities. The CDA recommends selecting a unit in an area with lower levels of poverty. Your materials contain a map of areas of concentration in Dakota County and the metro area. Lead-based paint. Lead paint is an invisible danger. Children affected by lead paint poisoning can suffer from lower intelligence, learning disabilities, and behavioral issues. If your unit was built before 1978 and you have children under age 6, there cannot be any chipping or peeling paint inside or outside the property. Lead paint must be removed properly, which can be time-consuming and expensive. When properly maintained and managed, this paint poses little risk. Fair housing. Owners or landlords are not required to participate in the HCV program, but cannot deny housing based on the following protected classes: race, religion, marital status, sexual orientation, color, national origin, disability, familial status, creed, sex, public assistance status. If you feel you have been discriminated against, you can file a fair housing complaint by visiting www.hud.gov. Calculating income. Income is projected or anticipated for the 12 months following your rental assistance beginning. Fluctuations such as hours or rate of pay are considered in the calculation. Estimates based on work history may be used if that is the best indicator. This may include the use of your taxes. Any reported change in income will be reviewed and adjustments made when warranted. Verifications of income. If you own your own business or are self-employed, the CDA will use taxes to calculate your income. For seasonal employment, the CDA will use wages earned and unemployment. For example, if you work for a school district September through June each year, 10 months of employment and 2 months of unemployment would be counted in your annual income. Your rent portion for July and August will not be zero, but will remain the same. Enterprise income verification. The CDA is mandated to use the Enterprise Income Verification, or EIV system, through HUD. This system provides the following: Social Security benefits paid, unemployment benefits paid, employment information, place of employment, hire date, and wages. It is imperative you report all changes. Failure to do so will result in termination of housing assistance benefits. Reporting changes as an applicant. You are considered an applicant until a housing assistance payment has been made on your behalf. It is recommended you keep your income source stable throughout this process. This will help to ensure you are able to begin assistance without delays. Report changes in writing as soon as they occur. Changes can impact your ability to rent a unit and the size of unit you can rent. Reporting changes as a participant. Changes must be reported in writing within 30 days of the change. It is preferred that you use the change report form, which is provided in your paperwork, can be received by calling the CDA or visiting www.dakotacda.org. This helps ensure the information gets into the correct file and helps the CDA respond in a timely manner. Reporting household composition changes. Report birth, adoption, and court-awarded custody of any children. The CDA must approve additions to the household. This must be done prior to anyone moving into the CDA-assisted unit. Guests are allowed to stay 15 days in a 12-month period. Anything greater than this must be approved in advance by the CDA. You are not allowed to be out of the assisted unit for more than 30 days unless medically necessary. If you are expecting to be out of the assisted unit for an extended period of time, you must notify the CDA in advance. Reporting income changes. All increases and decreases must be reported within 30 days. Report money all household members are receiving. The CDA will notify you in writing if the change results in a change to the rent portions. If there is a change, an updated rent allocation sheet will be sent to you and your landlord. Failure to report changes may result in you needing to pay back the CDA for overpaid assistance. Moving. You will not be permitted to move until you have fulfilled your first year of rental assistance, a 1-year lease. A move will only be permitted if you leave your current unit in good standing. We will not assist in a new unit if you have damaged the unit beyond normal wear and tear, have not given proper notice, or owe money to the landlord or the CDA. Portability. Portability refers to using your voucher outside Dakota County. If your voucher says Port Yes, you can transfer your voucher within the United States right away. If it says Port No, you must use your voucher in Dakota County for 12 months. If you want to port your voucher, you should inquire with the housing authority to see how their policies may differ. And be prepared to pay your first month's rent. Gaps in assistance are more likely. Successful program participation. Understand that failing to comply with program rules will result in termination of assistance. Remind family members and guests to adhere to your landlord and the HCV program rules and regulations. Report all changes in household composition, income, or assets to the CDA timely within 30 days. Do not, under any circumstance, allow anyone to stay or live in your assisted unit without permission from the CDA, or let anyone use your assisted unit to receive mail, register their vehicle, or use your address on their photo IDs. Attend all required meetings, including the HQS inspection. Supply all information required to calculate your subsidy. Refrain from illegal drug and alcohol abuse and violent activities. This includes all household members and visitors. Avoid threatening or abusive behavior toward your landlord, neighbors, and CDA staff. Pay rent on time and maintain your unit. Provide proper notice to your landlord before vacating your unit. Court-awarded evictions are a mandatory termination from the program. Next steps. Return the following signed documents to validate your voucher: the Housing Choice Voucher, the Statement of Tenant Responsibilities, Calculation Worksheet, Housing Assistance Briefing Acknowledgement. Examples of the required documents and where to sign will follow. Next, locate an affordable unit, return the completed RTA form, and contact the CDA with any questions. The Housing Choice Voucher. One copy must be signed and dated as shown on the screen and returned to the CDA. This voucher will not be valid until it is received by the CDA with a signature and date. Statement of Tenant Responsibilities. All adult household members must sign and date this form. It must be returned with the voucher to validate the voucher. Calculation Worksheet. After review, you must sign and date this form, returning it with the others requested to validate your voucher. Housing Assistance Briefing Acknowledgement. After this briefing, sign and date this form and return it with the others requested to validate your voucher. Tips for success. Select a unit at or below your eligible payment standard. Use the CDA Rent Affordability Calculator. Visit www.dakotacda.org. In the search box, type Rent Affordability Calculator, hit Enter, scroll down, click on Rent Affordability Calculator, and enter the requested information. Find a unit that suits your needs, for example, location and amenities. Bring your RTA with you when looking at units. If you have any questions, you can contact the CDA. Your housing specialist contact information and the contact information for the Dakota County CDA are on the screen. This concludes the new admissions briefing for the Dakota County CDA. Thank you.